And so I'm curious, which starters on the Raiders now should be most worried about having their jobs taken by this new rookie class? Now, again, for the first time since I can remember, we didn't draft guys to fill holes. We didn't draft our first and second and third round draft pick for like, all right, we desperately need a tackle. We desperately need a safety. We desperately need a running back. And these guys just like immediately, you're the starter. You're filling that hole. None of these six draft picks are those guys. They can be. They certainly can be. But we didn't draft anybody who's obviously going to be the starter. So I'm wondering, Soto, of these six guys, Dylan Parham, Zamira White, Neil Farrell Jr., Matthew Butler, Thayer Munford, and Brittain Brown, of these six players, which starters should be looking over their shoulder at these young guys and thinking, I might lose my job to one of these six guys?
Our interior three offensive linemen should be worried.
Whoever
about,
they may be, right? We're still not sure.
Whoever they may be right now. Yeah. Parham and Munford. Munford probably will get kicked inside. He played a lot better, especially pass protection wise, at guard than he did at tackle. So I think those two guys are going to be starters fairly quickly, if not this year, by the latest to begin next season, the following season. Zamira White looks like he's going to be the heir apparent at running back, or one of them at least. I just don't see them bringing back Jacobs. I don't see Jacobs signing for the amount that he would sign for being a complimentary back. Neil Farrell basically is a carbon copy, just a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, and a little bit bigger of Jonathan Hankins. Jay Hankins is in his last. He signed a 1-year contract. So 2023, he's going to be a free agent. So I see Farrell taking over that position. Butler may or may not. I don't see him starting. I don't really see where he fits in at tackle. But I mean, I don't see Brittain Brown being anything more initially than a special teamer type of guy. But I mean, I definitely. That's why I said I told you on your live show we got 4 future starters out of this draft,
which is insane considering we only have 6 players and we didn't start drafting till pick number 9.
Third round, yeah.
Third round, right? And we traded down, right? Like we went down from what, 87, 88?
86 to 90, yeah.
Down to 90, right? And we did some trade downs and we did some trade ups. So this is how I look at it. My first thing that I think about is Zamir White and the Josh Jacobs relationship. Because if Josh Jacobs is the type of man that I think he is, he's looking at this not getting his 5th-year extension. And if he had half a brain about him, he'd realize the Raiders aren't going to give him $8 million.
Or anything close to that.
What the money that he's supposed to get as a Pro Bowler in your 5th-year extension as a running back, right? Like the calculated dollar amount that he was supposed to get. That Pro Bowl is what screwed him. That's what screwed him over. Because if it was half that, then I think the Raiders would be on the fence a little bit, right? $4 million for a
that's
good
still
that's
still a little rich for a complimentary back, because you have to remember the scheme.
But it's a debate at that point, right?
Scheme, yeah.
At that point, it's a debate. Like, do we keep him or not? $8 million, gone, right?
Yeah, no way.
And so if he's the man that I think he is, a good man, a guy that's fought, clawed to get where he is, he's going to realize, hey, I got this 1 year to prove I'm the man, to prove to the other 31 franchise, and this one too. We could still re-sign him after the 5th year once he's on the free agent market, to prove that I'm the man, that I can be your bell cow. I can be your starting running back. I've got this year to prove it, and I'm going to prove I'm not going to get hurt. I'm going to get better at the backfield, and I'm still going to be the great in-between the tackles running back that everybody knows that I am. Zamir White comes in, takes a third of his carries. He's the one I'm going to worry about. Because I think with Parham, I think you're right with Dylan Parham, how I think he might start over some guard here eventually. But these were all starters that were on shaky ground to begin with. Like, I don't think Jon Simpson, anyone wanted him to be the starter. Leatherwood, who knows where he's going to go? Probably right guard. He was supposed to be the right tackle. Brandon Parker got all this money. Who knows? this is a whole shaky area. Josh Jacobs was solidified RB1. I think he's going to lose a third of his touches to Zamira White. And that could drastically – let's say he only gets 600 yards rushing this season. And he still plays okay, right? Still plays fine, right? Plays pretty well. Not a terrible down season. But he only gets
130 touches.
130 touches instead of 200 something.
Yeah, man. It's not just a possibility, it's a certainty. Especially lately, McDaniel has gotten away from that. I mean, how long ago did Corey Dillon play and LeGarrette Blount? Like, how long ago was that? Where they're the guys like they carried the ball 200 times, 250 times. Mm-hmm. They don't have that kind of guy anymore. The Patriots hadn't had that guy in 10 years. And that's not his system. He understands if I want to manipulate my roster cap-wise, I need to get a bunch of young running backs that have similar skill sets so I can use a bunch of them. I don't wear any one of them out. I help myself injury-wise. I don't have to pay him a lot of money. I just keep recycling them. And that's his philosophy. And that was going to happen to Jacobs regardless of who they drafted. He wasn't going to get as many carries because he brought in a bunch of guys too.
Who should be more worried about their starting job? Andre James at center or Jon Simpson at left guard? Because Parham, like he's the Swiss Army knife, right? Like when he came into Memphis, he was like a linebacker D end, and then he played guard, and then he hit
that training table.
Then he got beefed up.
Yeah.
Then he played guard. Then he played tackle, and the Senior Bowl he played center, and that's where everyone's kind of assuming he's going to play in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Is center. Now Andre James is making more than the guards, and Parham hasn't played hardly any center, but everyone's thinking that's where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who's more worried about Parham taking their spot.
I would say that James is a better center than Simpson is a guard.
Okay.
And for that reason, Parham would be most useful at the guard spot. James has 2 years left on his contract?
Mm-hmm.
So after this next season, I think they can cut him loose for almost nothing if they wanted to, and then slide in Parham at center in his second season. Because the thing is, it's not just snapping the ball, man. Like, especially, that center, you think about like the Patriots offensive lines, they've had like strong, solid offensive lines, good centers, and they do a lot. They're asked to do a lot. So him learning from the guard spot what it's expected of the center in a Josh McDaniels system, I think it'd be good for him to be set at guard first, and then transition to center later on. But if he is that much better than James from the beginning, who knows? James might kick over to guard.
That guard center guard position could just be juggling for like a season and a half. Like it could be
for sure
all over the place, which I would talk about forever. I want continuity, but it's looking like it's going to be just the little like ball under the cup game, right?
Yeah.
For the next season and a half.
Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of our video. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes next season and for Max Crosby to have 30 sacks, go ahead and subscribe and click the next video.